98, 99. Ah, nope, nope. We're not gonna do it.
It's been 7 days.
Your point?
Crawling doesn't solve any. By the way, you just did push-ups. How are your legs hurting? I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you, and life is totally great, is what you would have said if you hadn't quit 1 week, 2 week, or a month later. Let's fix that to make this the year where you actually accomplish your goals, and a few tips and tricks that help me to accomplish my goals. Okay, we need to reverse Gary V engineer this. What are the 5 tips and tricks that have helped me the most in accomplishing my goals, and how can I do that for this year so I don't feel unmotivated? You are worth more than your goals, and you are capable of bringing all of that goodness, best version of yourself, and improvement to reality that you've been lacking, and you will be able to crush your goals even if you don't feel as motivated as you would like to. This is very practical and reasonable advice. I read over 100 books, mostly financial based, mostly about self-improvement and self-help. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to do a book review or anything like that, because I do love reading, so that's another video I might have in mind. But I am the type of person who loves writing down goals, making things very aesthetically pleasing, and I'm always so hard on myself whenever I slip up or whenever I stop. And I'm trying to make this year to be kinder to myself. So I need you to be kind to yourself. You are able to conquer things. You are able to accomplish things. And it's all because of your mindset. If you believe it, you can achieve it. That's such a cliche because it's so true. You are no different than the multimillionaires or the billionaires out there. You are no different than the Arnold Schwarzeneggers of the world. You are no different than the people who have what you want. So if you first think about your mindset and think that you are capable of these things, and you're kind to yourself when you run out of energy, because people are sapping energy from you, or you're kind to yourself because you're not feeling motivated or life gets in the way, which it sometimes does, but you move past those obstacles and go on to move into action, you are going to accomplish great things. So tip number 1, you will achieve what you measure. So I am a finance girly. I am very much into data and spreadsheets. You might not be, and that's totally okay. So what we measure is what we're going to focus on, because that's the tangible thing in our minds that we can visualize. So let's say that we want to do a whole bunch of workouts for the year, and we want to actually accomplish being a little bit healthier. So let's say you set up a routine that you want to do strength training 3 times a week. 3 is a very basic, simple number that sounds easily achievable into your mind. So you are going to measure that and make sure you do 3 workouts a week. And that's it. Maybe all you can do is 3 workouts a week. I wouldn't put it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because your body's going to get tired. I would probably phase it out into Monday, Wednesday, possibly Saturday. You know, when you're like actually at home and when you're not working your 7 to 5, when you're not like going out, that way you can still have a life. It's still very realistic and practical, but you set those measurable goals. So at the end of the week, you feel very accomplished because that feels really real so real in our head. And it's something that we can hold on to and say, okay, let's do 3 days a week, easy. And just do that for, let's say, 50 weeks out of the year. Give yourself 2 weeks off. You know, you want to go on vacation and not have to think about anything. Setting up these realistic, measurable goals is going to make life so much easier because it's something that your brain is going to be able to focus on and visualize. So you will be ready to actually accomplish your goals. Now, for my goal this year was the 75 hard, which is what I'm doing. It's hard, especially when you have a 9 to 5, especially when you have, okay, we can stop pretending I don't have a social life, especially when you are trying to do a million different things. So that's the first approach. So you may be feeling that you want to quit just because you don't have something like tangible, like your brain is like, oh my gosh, okay, I want to be healthy, but I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. When in actuality, it's just like, no. take a step back, breathe. We don't need to be all nervous about working out. It's supposed to be something that's relaxing. Just do 3 days. Write it down. Do the little 3 check marks. Chef's kiss. It works. This video is sponsored by water. Go drink some. Not like this. And now we're properly hydrated. Carry on. Tip number 2. This is from the Beaten Down to Death Atomic Habits. We are going to set systems and create cues and rewards. As James Clear says, I found that goals are good for planning your progress and systems are good for actually making progress. So you're like, okay, I came up with all of these goals, all of these New Year's resolutions, or if it's in the middle of the year, I've come up with a goal. I have my impulse thought and my inspiration. Okay. And it's basically just saying your mindset is that you fall to the level of your lowest systems. People normally default to their lowest systems. So if you don't have a high vibration, a high system in place, you're going to fall down to the low one unless you create the system that goes along with it. One of my New Year's resolutions is to max out my Roth IRA, $7,000 for the max contribution this year. And if that's something that you would like to do, or if you have a financial goal, this is very helpful for your system. So basically what a system is setting up your goal into very small chunks. You don't want to just eat the whole cake. I mean, you do, but we start out with one slice, you know, like one little slice of that ice cream cake, and it is so delicious. And you start out by taking one little bite, savoring all of its goodness, and then you eat the whole cake. I mean, slice. And these will eventually turn into habits. So those are our systems that we like to use. So I like to, for my financial goals, set up automated systems. Now, this basically means that whatever you're getting from your paycheck, you allocate a percentage of that to your Roth IRA or to your taxable brokerage. And you can set an allocated percentage. This can be 5 to 10% of your paycheck per month. So that way you're paying yourself first without even thinking about it. Because guess what? As Remit, I will teach you to be rich. He says, automate that laziness. And you literally did 5 minutes of work for it. And that's a very lazy system that you can create. You can be the best version of yourself. You just need different systems and you need to know about these things. So after we have a handle on the systems, we're going to talk about cues and rewards and why they're so important, because James Clear mentions that as well. The cue triggers a craving, which motivates a response, which provides a reward, which satisfies the craving. What did I just read? Okay, so basically what a cue is your brain, when it visualizes it, it's like, oh my goodness, I have to do this. Right. Okay. You put your sneakers next to your bed and your workout gear right next to your bed, or you're like sleeping in your workout gear. Oh, cool. I guess I'm going to go running now. I like to have my Fidelity app in my phone so I can be able to see it and monitor it and make sure that whenever I get paid, that it automatically transfers into there. So all I have to do is be able to see it and it's there. And I can see it, it's tangible, great. Nothing else to do, don't need to think about it for the rest of the day. I would absolutely love that beautiful Christian Dior bag. Maybe I'll make that a reward. So James Clear suggests that rewards are the positive outcomes that reinforces the behavior you're trying to establish. So in my case, when you're thinking about your financial goals, if that is you want to be in your rich girl era, or you want to be in your Tai Lopez era, rewards are just as important in accomplishing your goals as are cues and systems. Basically, if you allow yourself to have a positive experience with your goal, and a positive experience and happiness and joy is associated with your goals, you are more inclined to actually reach your goals. So let's look at the financial goal that I have. I will go on Sunday to a coffee shop and just relax and have my coffee. I normally do a reset for me, but that's normally, you know, being in my little space and like being my introverted self and in my happy place. So that's my reward. So your brain starts associating your reward with the goal that you have and the system and the cues that you have. So my brain is associating having a lovely bit of quiet me time with my favorite cup of coffee with my actual investing, which is a great way to help yourself. If you think that rewarding yourself for yourself is detracting you from your goals, it's just because you don't have the right type of rewards or the right type of reward system. And that will set you up for so much success, and you can use that in any goal that you have. Is your goal realistic? Has life changed for you? Do you have a baby? Do you have a child? Are you in school? Everything is just aesthetically pleasing and life is beautiful, or you're a Kardashian, but you still have other goals that you want to accomplish. So the goal, the huge dream, the huge goal that you have, you might not be able to have as much time for it. And that's okay. So blessed and feel so grateful. I'm employed. Wow, I have children. Wow, I am in college. Like, not many people can say these things. And you have a roof over your head. You know, you have food. It's a big deal for a lot of people in the world to have these things. You are in a good position. I have such big goals to help save the world and save all of humanity. That's like, I have to step back and be like, okay, for now, that might be a little bit much. So we're going to make it a bit more realistic, because we realize we have to help ourselves first. Because if we don't help ourselves, we're not helping anybody else. So we need to really look at our goal, because if it's not realistic with the life that you have, just rewrite your goal. It's completely okay to rewrite your goal and to be like, okay, maybe I can't do this right now, but I can and will accomplish something a little less audacious. But maybe in the next 5 years or the next 5 months, I'll be able to accomplish what I originally intended to accomplish. That way you'll have that motivation and that self-confidence when you do accomplish that earlier, which is another plus. But then you won't feel bad and just think you're a failure, because that's the last thing we want to do. That's a huge step in accomplishing anything, because the more you can trick your body or your mind into accomplishing something, the more goals you will set for yourself. So if we set it here, we reach that one, we feel a huge sense of accomplishment. Whereas if we set it here and only reach here, we're just like, oh, I wasn't able to do it. To have that self-confidence, we need to feel a sense of accomplishment. Tip number 4, life happens. Get a helmet. No, but seriously, so life happens. The only thing, I was reading the Psychology of Money, and basically the whole premise of it is that finance is 80% behavioral, which is why anybody can give you some data and, you know, you believe it, but you might not follow it, because at the end of the day, we're human. He said that the only thing you can expect in life is for it to change. So you should be prepared for the unexpected. This is why having an emergency fund is so vital to your wealth success. This is why having, I don't curse, the FU fund, just in case life happens, because life does happen. Your mindset changes. The career that you have now is amazing and like the best thing ever. 10 years from now, you might not like it at all and want to change and want to go a different direction. And if you don't have that emergency fund set up or that FU fund set up, you have to stay in that place and you feel controlled and like you can't get ahead in life. And I don't want that for you. I want you to have so many possibilities, so many opportunities, and so much goodness and positivity in your life and abundance. And this is how you can do that. And how are we going to create goals? Everything around us is changing, as it should. That's nature. How do we stay consistent amongst that change? So what you have to do is be prepared for it. And when I say prepared, I mean create a buffer. So again, I'm going to go back to my financial goal, which is to max out my retirement fund for the year. I already have an emergency fund. I did that for 3 years, setting that up first. So for you, it might not be wealth. It could be health. It could be happiness. Whatever it is, whatever your goal, make sure that you have that safety net and that buffer. All of the gurus are going to hate me for this, because what they say is, only have plan A, not plan B. Like, only have this. You will succeed in anything you do. And yes, you will. You will. Trust. And I am proud of you, because I know you will. If you're a worrywart like me, We need to be prepared first. We need to have that extra $10,000 if we're buying our first property. Have that extra emergency fund in case something happens. We need to not let go of our 9 to 5, even if we want to be a creator, because we're not there yet. And life happens. And it's okay if it takes a little bit slower or a little bit of time. Be prepared. Tip number 5, probably have an all or nothing mindset. That might be why. If I don't accomplish it, I'm the worst failure ever. And if I don't do this, it's going to be terrible. Relax. Perfectionist mindset. It's a superpower, very passionate and very motivated, but it's very likely to not make you happy. It's very likely to not allow you to experience the journey and process of your goal, which is the most important part and where you grow. So we need to stop thinking about this all or nothing mindset and this goal that we have that we're like, okay, we must do this, we must do that, it must be perfect, stressing and worrying about it so much, and you don't accomplish it. So instead, I was thinking about this the other day because I did used to have a very perfectionist mindset. I did have an all or nothing mindset, and this is what helps get me out of it. We're all not on the same consistency day in and day out. Here, when we first start, and then it's like a week later it's here, a week later it's here, a week later it's here, and then you're just like, do I really have to do this? Do I really want to wake up at 3 a.m. to work out? Because we do lose that motivation and we do lose that consistency. What I do, which has helped me, I am trying not to have an all or nothing mindset. And I do think that's one of my superpowers, but I am trying to let a little bit of that go. So only have like an 80% perfectionist mindset, and then the other 20% like have a little bit of wiggle room. So what I realized in the past 2 weeks of doing 75 hard, and I started off doing 2 workouts for 75 minutes because I'm dyslexic. I'm not even kidding. I am dyslexic. So I was stressing my body out just doing 75-minute workouts twice in a day because I had to stop myself because I was like, okay, we're not going to do this like ballerina black swan thing. So what I realized is I'm going to do my own version of 75 hard that fits into my lifestyle. I'm not going to be a perfectionist with it. I am going to not have an all or nothing attitude. The best version of myself is me not having an all or nothing mindset, not saying I have to do this today, because that have to will completely take over my life. Hormazi was saying that don't have such a rigid routine that controls your life, because she had a perfectionist mindset. So it's 2024. We are going to be in control of our time. And I was realizing that throughout this 2 weeks that 75 hard is really controlling me. I'm not controlling it. And we're also erasing the rule of doing 45 minutes, 2 workouts, because 45 minutes, and this is what Huberman says, 45 minutes of a good workout will help you. I'm okay with that I'm going to meditate for 5 to 10 minutes. And as well, I'm going to write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. So if you are thinking of having an all or nothing mindset, just take a step back and be kinder to yourself. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I hope you're being the best version of yourself, creating health and wealth and making sure that we have the best outlook. Please subscribe, please like. I hope you will be unstoppable.